Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit now about the crooners. We mentioned Bing Crosby, and these guys kind of hung out together. They were all good friends. Dean Martin, Memories Are Made of This, was his number one hit that was number one for 6 weeks in 1955. Memories Are Made of This, Dean Martin. Frank Sinatra, Strangers in the Night. Um, Then we have Buddy Holly with Peggy Sue. This is rock and roll now. Elvis Presley with Heartbreak Hotel. I do want you to remember the names of these people and their big hit as listed here. Then we have the Beatles that are in a class all their own. They made way for the Rolling Stones, the Dave Clark Five. I just can't even name them all. But they were the original and they were fantastic. And if you look at these pictures, um, upper left, that's the way they looked when they came here. And upper right, that's what they wore too on the Ed Sullivan Show. Lower left was in their psychedelic period, the Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which most rock and roll stars have said that that album was their inspiration for writing their music, like the Beach Boys and some of the others. Actually, they were heavily into drugs, and perhaps they all say that LSD was got them to write the fantastic music. I have no idea. Um, and then the lower right picture is later on. You know, the Beatles were together for 8 years, and then they split up in 1970, and 10 years later, John Lennon was murdered. Uh, then we move on to cassette tapes, other ways. All of these I'm going to show you right now. Well, the cassette tapes, the 8-track, they were around for a while. Some of them are still around, I guess, but you just can't. Where do you find a cassette player anymore to play the music? So um, it's best to take that music, if you have a cassette player, then record it to a DVD or whatever. Um, Digital recording, digital audio began in the telephone industry, where it was used to digitize telephone conversations and, in effect, compress them so that more conversations could be handled on existing lines. Then we get into some other things that we're not going to go too much into. Once we get to digital recording, we have a Nakajima. Mr. Nakajima joined Sony in 71, and he was struck with the idea of digitizing sound when trying to improve the sound quality of FM broadcasts. Remember the AM, FM? I've got the hiccups again. Which had only been used in computers and long distance telephone transmission. Then we get into digital tape. This was a few steps beyond what I would do at home and send to a friend. Okay, now we have digital tape, digital audio tape, DAT. Don't have to know this. I won't test you on it. Then in 1982, I do want you to know this. In 1982, the first digital audio 5-inch CD discs were marketed, merging the consumer music industry with the computer revolution. So now we have what we have this merging, and it is basically two types of technology merging. You take something from here and something from here, you put it together, and we have it. So 1982, the first 5-inch CD discs. Okay, this is important. I want you to remember not this picture on the right, but the compact disc, the CD, as sold to the public for $15, is made of plastic coated with a layer of aluminum and protected with a final layer of lacquer, costing less than $1. It costs less than $1 to manufacture. The maximum playing time is 74 minutes. It costs $1 and it was sold for $15. Wrap your head around that, okay? Usually the cost of what it is to manufacture something, let's say $1, uh, when it goes to the wholesaler, he doubles it to $2. He sells it to the retailer for $2 and he doubles it to $4. So you go into a store and what you paid $4 for actually cost $1 to make. But here they're making 1,500%. Whew. The CD was not an immediate hit, and it took nearly a decade for it to displace the audio cassette. But in the 1990s, it became the most popular home format. Um, the problem was we had to get people into computers in order for them to use CDs. We did have CD players that were separate from computers. We go on to MP3s. You probably have or have had an iPod, digital recording studios. We don't need to know all about that. Portable digital recorders. Um, and then really portable. Recorders were once the size of an entire room. That was like computers. Computers were once the size of a building. Now they fit in your hand. Computers and recorders. The recording quality was once very poor, and now they are nearly the same quality as professional studios. Okay, now we're going to get into top tens, and these are what I want you to remember. Uh, Rolling Stone gave us this list of the top 10 rock and roll artists, starting with the Beatles. This is based on sales and how long their music was, in the top 10. The Beatles, Bob Dylan, Elvis Presley, the Rolling Stones, Chuck Berry, one of the originals, Jimi Hendrix, James Brown, Little Richard, Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles. Ooh, Ray Charles music is fantastic. So remember those. Now we're going to get into the top 10 rock and roll songs. Like a Rolling Stone, Bob Dylan, number 1. Satisfaction, the Rolling Stones. Imagine, John Lennon. What's Going On, Marvin Gaye. I invite you to listen to each of these songs. You can look them up, you can find them anywhere online. Because I might, in your next test, your next exam, I might play one or two and ask you to tell me what it is.